The Rebbe is talking here in the Maimah of Chassidus Hashlishi, which talks about the greatness of the accomplishment of Matan Torah. Yeah, here's a paper. The accomplishment of Matan Torah. That the accomplishment of Matan Torah was the Bittul HaGzeidah. The Gemara says, the Talmud says that the accomplishment of Matan Torah was the breaking of the Gezeidah, was a decree that Al Yonim, we'll say today in Hallel, Hashemayim, Shemayim, Lashem, V'aretz Nosan L'Vnei Adam, that there was a decree, Malamayla, that the upper worlds will not go down to the low worlds, and the low worlds will not go down to the upper worlds. Which the decree meant, in essence, that there would be a concept that the vessel, the Keli and the would not come together. That the Hashem, the light of God, which God created the world for the purpose of that light. That's why it says that when God created the world, the first day of creation, but then Rashi says, God knows that he hid the light. That this light would not come down, it wouldn't have a place to come down. It came down tzaddikim, that the Yidden would be able to be mamshich this that they will be able to be mamshich this lamata, they'll be able to bring down this light in this world. And how do you do that? That means it's such an elevated light. The Hashem that God created the first day of creation is such an elevated light that even that you are mamshich, we are mamshich this light in a vessel. It's such a dakas dika it's such an elevated that you cannot see this light. It's a light that cannot be seen. It's a very delicate light. You have to have special glasses to see this light. We see that in the world today. You have certain lights that you cannot see. It's a that cannot be seen with your eyes. It needs to be seen through other machshedim, other things, other technical things to be able to see this So this is the Hashem.
Like the sun.
You can see the sun. There's like the clips. So this is an Hashem. This is an Hashem that cannot be seen. It's like you have today. Also, you have sounds that cannot be heard. Cannot be heard. People cannot hear it. They cannot hear it. You need to have special kind of technical things to be able to hear sounds, certain sounds. We're not capable. Why? It will break us. If we would hear those sounds, it would break us. It would break the clear of the ear. The Eibishter God brought about created an that the vessels of the world were not ready. And then the Eibishter said, okay, I'm going to break this decree, and this Hashem will be able to come into vessels, even though you will not be able to see it. You will not be able to, as humans, be able to see this but that's what's going to happen. This you're going to make a vessel. I'm going to tell you the vessels, and this will now come into this vessel. And not only was that there's a milah of the coming into the vessel, but actually the vessel itself is elevated. So now the vessel becomes a davar mukhshar, becomes something that it can handle this and even though this vessel is a physical vessel, I took something from the world and I made it a vessel for the Hashem, and now this vessel became a davar shebekdusha, became holy itself. And that's what Matan Torah accomplished, that the vessel, that the two things, that the can come down and that the vessel can go up. The physical can become a vessel for godliness. That is the chiddush of Matan Torah. So that's the Rebbe says. The Rebbe says, page number 8. The phrase is more accurately translated. The lower worlds are able through the Jewish service of Hashem to be with Torah mitzvahs to be refined to the point where they reveal godliness. This ability was granted at the time of the giving of the Torah. But the actual accomplishment of this task happened later through the service of a Yid. This is this week's Parsha. V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'seicham. So the Eibishter says, God says, make for me a mikdash. You have to go and do a Veda. Go and make for me a mikdash. And v'shachanti. And you'll be able to bring God in your midst. So that needs to be done through the Veda of a Yid, taking the world, the 15 things of the world, and transforming it, making it into a vessel for God. So Chassidus explains that after the giving of the Torah, a Jew has the ability to permanently refine the physical world when he uses the physical object for performance of a mitzvah, like this 15 physical objects, Zav, Neches, Necheshes, Teilas, Vargama, Tlashani, all these 15 objects are 15 physical things. And to be able to make a mikdash for the Eibishter. In the Mishkan that the Yidden built in the desert was a Mishkan that revealed Atzmas, the essence of God was revealed in the Kacha Kacha. And as we know, it's brought down that this Mishkan was never destroyed. Mishkan Sha'osa Moshe Rabbeinu, Mishkan that Moshe Rabbeinu made is Nitzchi. The Rebbe writes, beautiful Maimon this week in Dvar Malchus, the Rebbe writes that the Mishkan is that how you davening today, Karban is with the Mishkan. So there's no Beis Hamikdash Lamata. You say the Beis Hamikdash, the Beis Hamikdash Lamaila, Beis Hamikdash. There's Yerushalayim Shalamata, Yerushalayim Shalamayla. There's a Yerushalayim above and there's Yerushalayim below, and they connect one another. But Lapoil is no Beis Hamikdash Lamata. So what does it help me that there's Yerushalayim Shalamayla? Yippee do there's Yerushalayim Shalamayla. You have an Neshama above and a Neshama below. So we have an Neshama above. The Kavan is no, because there's a Mishkan here. The actual Mishkan is here Lamata. You might not see it. It's hidden in the belly of the Harabais, of the Temple Mount, but the Mishkan is there, and the Mishkan is there in the stomach of the Harabais, and the Kalim are there. Everything is there. Never was destroyed. So the Beis Hamikdash, the top of the mountain, was destroyed, but the Mishkan is there. So the Mishkan is still there. The Mishkan that we're reading today in the Parsha is still in existence. So before they give me the Torah, physical object we use, so it's nitzchias. That's my point. My point is nitzchias. Mishkan sha'asha shleim, sha'asha davar, sha'asha Moshe is nitzchias. The Mishkan, the physical building, is still here in this world, even 1,000 years, thousands of years later. Why? Because once Yidden followed, and the Eibishter, the Torah Shabbat and they followed, they made a Beis Hamikdash, a Mishkan, which is called Beis Hamikdash, Asli Mikdash. It cannot be destroyed. It's here. So, but their nature was not changed to the action of mitzvah because the lower worlds could not ascend to the higher worlds. So that's why before Matan Torah they were very high level people, very spiritual people, Avram, Yitzhak, Yaakov, but they did not transform the world. And that's why nothing was eternity to them. And ultimately, when Avram Avinu left, everything stopped. Yitzhak started again, and when he left, everything stopped. And Yaakov started again. But once Yaakov started, nothing ended. Right? From Yaakov Avinu, it went on, and it continued ad Deirazeh. That's what we call Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel, which is Yaakov Avinu. Of course, it's emes, and it never, ever changes. Furthermore, in some cases, like tefillin or sefer Torah, the physical article takes on the holiness of the mitzvah article. It becomes a mitzvah article. So that's even more. Not only you take, like I say, I make a bracha on food, and I have kavan l'shem shemayim, I transform this cup of coffee. But the point is, the coffee goes through my system, and it goes in and goes out. And weiter gefahren. So it's hard to be able to see the way the coffee is elevated. But then I take a tefillin, I take a mezuzah, and I make it a davar shabakdusha. That physical parchment has become holy. And I can't throw in the garbage, I can bury it, I cannot destroy it, for surely not, I'm not going to destroy it. It becomes a davar shabakdusha, it becomes a holy article. So there we see another step, that we can take a physical thing and bring it into holiness. The physical object takes on the holiness of mitzvah, representing an even higher level of holiness and refinement. So there, as we see here, I don't have to refine it. There we see we actually take a physical thing and we actually refine it. As the Rebbe would say, we mentioned it last time, bias. Where we see the kedusha, you said nothing. Beged Lilba, Yaakov Avinu says, "Give me clothes, give me food." And v'shafti b'shalom beis avi, that where do we see get like Vasli Migdash is in your house? The house has to be a different house. That's what we can see if the Shekhinah is resting in your house. Is there godliness in your house? Is your house a different house than a regular house? So what is your house? That's where you have to transform. We have to transform our bias. We can make our bias a makom kedusha. There's shalom bias. There's kedusha in the house. There's learning in the house. There's davening in the house. The house is a house of a godly existence. So we can all do that. We can all make that God feels comfortable in this house. So when you close the door, the Eibishter comes in the house, and that's something that we can all do, transform our house. The Rebbe explains why the special ability is needed to accomplish this refinement to the physical world. So the Rebbe says a mitzvah, we decided this, a mitzvah is the will of Hashem, an expression of godliness. On the other hand, an object used for the performance of a mitzvah is a physical existence. So there's seemingly an opposite of physical and spiritual. Since these two levels of existence don't naturally share anything in common, it's impossible for one of them to affect the other. Therefore, a special cancellation of the decree, a change of the nature of creation was necessary. So that's why the greatness of Matan Torah. Matan Torah was that the physical became physical. The physical, the Eibishter said, God broke a decree that the physical is not physical anymore. The physical has now become a vessel for spirituality. In order to allow interaction between the upper world, the mitzvah of the upper worlds, and the lower worlds, the physical object, making the refinement possible, that was the breakage of the decree. That in essence, that now the physical has the possibility of becoming spiritual. So in essence, there's no difference between the physical and spiritual. There's nothing that's spiritual. And that's why a Jew needs to look at everything that's spiritual. He needs to look at the Hashem in everything in life. And if he cannot see it, he should walk away from it. If he can see it, then he should deal with it. If he cannot see it, then he should go away from it. So that shalosh, that's what he says, there's shalosh klippos hakmeis. There are things that are three in levels of impurity, and if he sees it's not legal, it's an illegal work, it's a work hepech haTorah, he should walk away from it. Because he cannot be elevated. If he sees it as a work that is klippos noiga, that means you can refine the vessel and take away the tumah from the vessel, then you should go and do the work. Because that's the avodah. 6 days a week you shall work and take this davar gashmi and make it a kli l'kust and make it a kli for godliness. And without you doing that, the vessel is not going to become holy. So that's why you have to go to work. And you have to transform the work. It should be done al pi halacha. It should be done al pi Torah. If it cannot be done al pi Torah, you need to cheat, you need to gamve, you need to do it hepech haTorah, then you're wasting your time. Then it's a waste. It's wasting my time, and I should go away from it. I should walk away from it. Why? Because I can't make it holy. I can't elevate it. So that's the way I look at everything in life. Can I do it? Can I bring some godliness in it? And therefore I should do it. I cannot bring godliness in it. I walk away from it. So if somebody comes talk to me lashon hara. If I can do something with it, do it. Listen to it. And if you can't, walk away from it. That's it. It's a simple thing.
Even mundane business things?
Be mundane. If it can be done al pi Torah, do it. Because then the Torah says you can take this gashmi and make it ruchni. If you can't, it needs to be done hepech halacha, walk away from it. Walk away from it. Not only do you walk away from it because you might go to jail or might get tzadis, walk away from it because as a yid you cannot elevate it. And therefore, walk away from it. That's it. Are you gonna make money? No, you're not gonna make money. You're not gonna make it. You cannot make money from this. It's gonna ultimately hurt you because it's a davar tumah and you need to walk away from it. You need to walk away from it. It needs to be done. Masa matana b'emunah. That's why the first thing they asked me, did you work and do your avodah b'emunah with faith? Al pi Torah. You did it al pi halacha. And that was the break. So you can't say, oh, my business is my business and my Torah is my Torah. My business has nothing to do with Torah. No.
My Torah is my business.
Torah is my business. And because the whole kavanah, what I go to business for? I go to business to be able to do my avodas Hashem. Well, I'm a businessman, and that's my avodas Hashem, is to do business. That's the way I serve God, is do business. A yid that goes to work has to feel that his avodas Hashem is business. It's not a contradiction to his avodas Hashem. Chas v'shalom. The Rebbe just told him, it says in the pasuk, Sheish Hashem and David. 6 days a week, you got to go to work. So that God wants you to go to work. God wants a yid that his work should be for not only for just to pay bills. God wants you to go to work to do avodas Hashem, to do the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And paying bills is also the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because you need a house, you need food, you need to have a mishpacha. All these is part of the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But that's why basically a yid needs to look at something, because the Eibush in essence said, I broke that decree. So a person says, oh, but this is my day-to-day job. No, I broke that decree. There's no concept in that. That's why a person's work should never take him away from anything else in life, because not from his service to God, not from his responsibility to his mishpacha. Should not, because the work is for that. How can that take it away from that? How can it be a contradiction? It takes away when it's a contradiction. When the obligation to God is a contradiction to your work. So how can I do both? I got to go to work. No, it can't be if it's a contradiction, then something is wrong over here. Then the kavanah in the going to work is not the kavanah of the Eibishter. The kavanah, you think that you're going to need to make more money, and that's not the kavanah of going to work. The kavanah of going to work is to bring godliness into the world, and hopefully you'll be able to make a lot of money too, Be'ezat Hashem. Because the more money you'll do, the more godliness you'll be able to bring into the world. You cannot bring into the world a lot of godliness if you're poor. You need to have more money to bring godliness into the world. That's the way it is. That's the way God made the world. So that's the kavanah. And once you have that kavanah, you have everything comes easy. So that's the kavanah.
That's confusing. How can you equate bringing godliness into the world by saying that you need to bring more money?
Because you can create more gashmias. You have more money, you create more gashmias. Money creates gashmias. Right? If I have no money, I live in a hut. If I live in a big house, now I can have a lot of achnasas zorchim. I can have a great achnasas zorchim in a hut. But more gashmias, more ruchnias.
I mean, there's a difference between a palace and living in a nice little house.
No, we should live. We should all. The question is, what's a palace? I can live in a small house and be a palace too. But it's ein ani ela bedas. The Gemara says ein ani ela bedas. Ani is in the mind really. A person can be a rich man and be an ani, and a person can be an ani and be a rich man. But the point is, you cannot have ruchnius in a way if you don't have gashmius. The Alter Rebbe once said, the Eibishter get gashmius. God gives gashmius, and the yid takes gashmius and makes it ruchnius. But you need to have gashmius to make it ruchnius. Even the Eibishter promised Avram Avinu, I'm going to make you rich. What Avram Avinu? Why did the Eibishter promise Avram Avinu that he's going to make him rich? Pasha begashmius, I'm going to make you rich. Why? Because Avram Avinu understood that the way he's going to influence the world is going to be rich. Who's going to listen to a schlepper? Avram Avinu was a big knacker. He was a wealthy guy, a gevir, and he transformed the world. He took his gashmis and he transformed the world. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was the same thing. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, one wrote the Mishnah, Teresh Bapeh, was the richest Jew in Israel.
David HaMelech was a shepherd.
He started off as a shepherd. He ultimately was a melech. Took all his money and built the Beis HaMikdash. Rebbe mechabed ashirim, the Gemara says. Rebbe honored wealthy people. Why? Because he was wealthy himself. And Rebbe understood that the Gemara says that the challenge of an usher is much greater than the challenge of an ani. Rebbe understood why. Why is the challenge of an usher greater than the challenge of an ani? Because in essence, the usher, the Eibishter gave the usher greater capabilities. And he can basically blow it. Right? An ani cannot blow any capability. He doesn't have it. So he doesn't have the capability. An usher has the capability. And he can blow it. Chas v'shalom.
But Torah says we just need water bread and salt. Now we need the
Yeah. That's to do learn Torah. Torah, you don't need nothing. Limud Torah, you need bread, water, and salt. But not to build a Beis HaKnesses. You cannot do it on a bed, water, and salt. Vasli Mikdash, take the Beis HaMikdash. V'shachanti b'seichem. You know how much that Beis HaMikdash was worth in today's value? You know how much gold was in that Beis HaMikdash? You know how much silver was in that Beis HaMikdash? You know how much other stuff was in that Beis HaMikdash? You know how much money David HaMelech put away for the building of the Beis HaMikdash? Something in the billions of dollars he put away for the building of the Beis HaMikdash. Why? Well, why the Eibishter can live in a chatka too? He needs to have a beautiful, opulent building. No, because that's what the princess asked Rabbi Kiva. Gold and silver. This week's parish, she said, "Why the Abish need all this gold and silver? Gold and silver. God needs gold and silver." So what did he answer? He said, "Why did God create gold and silver? If not for the Avodah the Mishkan, why did Abish create gold and silver? You think God created gold and silver for humans to adorn themselves with gold and silver? That was the kavanah. No, the kavanah was for the Beis HaMikdash, and now the world gets the pleasure, also extra. There's extra left over for the rest of the world to enjoy gold and silver and diamonds. But really, it was all created for the Mishkan. That's what the Abish created gold and silver, the Beis HaMikdash. It's no need. If there wasn't for the Beis HaMikdash, who needs gold and silver? Don't tell that to your wives. But who?
You have a better shul. She reminds me.
100%.
You have a better shul.
You should need a much better. You need a bigger than this.
Yeah.
You need a bigger. So that's the power of a mitzvah. Why? Because a mitzvah, so I can buy a pair of tefillin that is $300, and I can buy a pair of tefillin that's $1,800. And zeh keli vanveyu. So I should, if I can afford it, I should buy an $1,800 pair of tefillin. I can drive a car with a Honda, but if I can afford it, I should drive a Bentley. For us nicht. If the Abish gives me money, I should drive a Bentley.
Get you a Bentley. You got a big Kanaka.
No, doesn't make you better. Doesn't make you better.
So what?
Doesn't make you better. Let me ask you a question. If you can fly first class, should you fly coach? Just because you want to, it's uncomfortable, coach. I'm driving first class. We're both getting the same place. Trust me.
So does the car.
Go first
We're all
class.
getting the same
Scare
place.
me a little bit.
When the planes,
Old car and new car
when the
gets the
planes
same place.
crash, everybody goes
You
together.
ability to fly first class.
Right, and we get the place, everybody goes to the same place. But the prayer is, let me tell you, flying first class is not flying coach. I've done it. It's a different, it's a ganz andere Avodah.
Don't spread that
It's
word
a
around.
ganz,
But it's the same mitzvah when you put
yeah, 100%.
$50 or $800.
Yeah, but Zeh Keli Va'anveyu. This is my God, and I shall make him beautiful. The Eivishter, if I can afford an $1,800 pair of tefillin, I should buy but if I can afford an $1,800 pair of tefillin, I should buy an $800
But
pair
if I
of
don't have
tefillin.
the money,
Then don't, it's fine. Then be who you
so
are.
the money doesn't make him better.
Oh, the $800 pair of
Why?
tefillin, because
Hashem didn't give him the money.
Because it's a much more anveyu. It's a more beautiful thing. It's a more beautiful thing. It's a more beautiful concept. Just like I could take gashmis, I don't want to still live. I take gashmis. I don't want to. I want a nice house for myself. I want to have. I don't want to sit on a. I want a leather couch. If I can afford, I can sit on a leather couch. It's like a little bit more money, but I want a leather couch for my tachas. I want a more comfortable couch and v'cholu. So why, when it comes to Yanin Ruchnim, everything needs to be. Like people always say, tell me, oh, I'm wearing my grandfather's tefillin. Do you wear our grandfather's untergatkes? Do you wear his pajamas, your grandfather? Why is that? Why did you wear your grandfather's jock? Why did you wear your grandfather's sentimental value? Right? Maybe your grandfather, just like your grandfather's untergatkes need to be thrown away. Maybe the tefillin also need to be buried. Maybe they're not so kosher. Oh, but I suddenly become sentimental. My grandfather's tefillin, okay? bury your grandfather's tefillin, and wear buy yourself a new pair of tefillin. There's a Indian. There's no question about it. So that's the way it goes. So it comes, my grandfather's siddur, my grandfather's tefillin, my grandfather. But when it comes to a beautiful home, it's not my grandfather's. It's my grandfather's is old-fashioned.
If you had the tefillin from Moshe Rabbeinu, would you wear them?
You know what? I don't think that the tefillin that I see a lot of people have their grandfathers, it doesn't look like Moshe Rabbeinu's, but okay. If it was Moshe Rabbeinu, no. The truth is, my father, I would love to have my father's tefillin, and somebody has it, because it was a beautiful pair of tefillin. He himself made sure to have a beautiful pair of tefillin. And he didn't have his grandfather. I'm talking about the grandfather's tefillin that people bring over here sometimes. They needed to be buried a long time ago. It's not good tefillin, whatever. So don't get sentimental on me suddenly. Grandfather's tefillin. Even though I tell him it's not kosher. It's not kosher. Oh, but it's sentimental. It's not kosher. It's not worth anything. So you take your sentimental value, put it on the cloud shelf, and that's it. No, most things cannot survive hundreds of years. Tefillin is not something that can survive hundreds of years. It's not possible. It's a dover. It's parchment on the thing. It can't survive. You can't take the Torah. How long can a Torah survive that you should be able to read it in 100 years? You can't find a Torah 500-600 years. It's falling apart. So you can say, you know what? We're going to have a 500-year Torah. We're going to use. It's not kosher. It needs to be buried. Sometimes you go into some shuls and they have a Torah in a Holocaust Torah, and they have it open. It's not kosher Torah. It's ruined, and it's a bizoyin Torah. This is a bizoyin to the Torah. Take it out of its thing and bury it, and that's more of honor to the Torah. It needs to be buried, not to be the Torah does not turn into a museum piece. It needs to be buried. Some Torahs need to be buried, so it's not the way it should be done. So you need to go and buy a new Torah. This has sentimental value, but you need a kosher Torah, and that's a new Torah. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Shouldn't you kosher it?
Sometimes you can't kosher it. You can't kosher it. It's faded away. The whole Torah is faded away. The parchment's fading. It's not kosherable. It's on parchment, and it's on whatever. It's a davar gashmi. It doesn't last forever. It's a davar gashmi. It doesn't last forever. It's not possible to be saved.
It's a target to be rich. It's a target.
If you can make it ruchni, it's a target. Yeah. Yeah. If you can make it to transform the world with it, it's a target. You sure you should become rich?
Take with books, Rabbi.
What?
I have a Sefer Torah in my house, which is a replica of the menorah.
Yeah, you told me.
Same.
Yeah.
It's about this big. I know it's not kosher. You go bury it. Okay.
Hashem makes you rich, Rabbi.
You go
Hashem,
bury
it's not
something
you.
like
It's not
that.
you.
It's an antique piece.
Doesn't depend on you.
It's a magnificent piece of-
Right.
What do you say?
Okay.
He doesn't want to stay.
L'chaim.
Be that guy. I told you I'll take the job for you. I'm not gonna make a lot of
Why is not kosher? Why is not kosher?
Because it's old. What I would like to do is maybe take it out and start having somebody sit down and
Okay, that's what you do. Find out if you kosher it. That should be the best thing to make it kosher.
bring it to Israel, have some-
You're okay, so you need to save it to sit
They
down.
fix it.
They fix it. If they can fix it.
They fix it.
Some taters you can't fix. I've given taters Torahs to people and it cannot be fixed. Some taters cannot be fixed. Some tater can be fixed. Listen, hello. A yid doesn't have to be afraid of gashmias. That's the point. So if you can take gashmias and turn to ruchnias, you should have more gashmias. This fear of gashmias is an irrelevant fear.
But it doesn't depend on you.
Yes, it does.
Hashem give you.
No, Hashem gives you gashmias to turn it into ruchnias. Don't be afraid of having gashmias.
But if you
The Rebbe once said the Alter Rebbe didn't want that Napoleon should win because he didn't want Yidden to have gashmias. The Rebbe said this generation Yidden should have gashmias. Don't be afraid of gashmias. If you have a problem with the money, come to me, I'll help you out. Don't be afraid of gashmias. Have a lot of gashmias. There's no reason you should be afraid of gashmias. Because Baruch Hashem, you can take all the gashmias and turn it into ruchnis today. It's not a hard job to do. You can turn your total Gashmis into the... Don't be afraid of Gashmis. Naturally, a person is a part of the low world. He is a physical being that is able to comprehend limited physical things and concepts. Therefore, it's naturally impossible for him to fundamentally affect by the Torah, which is godly wisdom. So even knowledge, Torah gave you really, the Eibishter gave you Gashmias, but he also gave you an Inyan Ruchni. Just like he gave you Gashmias, physicality, money and stuff, and all the money in the world, the Eibishter gave you Ruchnias. Both of them are very difficult to transform. You think that Gashmias is hard to transform? Ruchnias is hard. Wisdom is hard. You think only Gashmias is an Inyan that's far, that is hard to change? And what about Ruchnias? And what about the knowledge of Torah? That's not hard to accomplish. That is also very hard. So why are you afraid of that? Why aren't you afraid of that? So you're afraid of Gashmias, but you're not afraid of Ruchnias. The truth is, you should be afraid of both. I'm afraid. And you should be unafraid of both. Because the Eibishter broke the decree that from both sides, he broke the decree. He broke the decree that the Yonim can come down Lamata, Torah wisdom can come down into a human being, and he broke the decree that the Tachtonim, that Gashmis, can become Ruchnis. He broke the decree from both sides. And therefore, even the Torah is unbelievable deep, you shouldn't say, I never can accomplish it, so we don't start it. Right? No. Start it. Don't be afraid of Ruchnis. Don't be afraid of Ruchnis. Don't be afraid of Limat Torah. The Torah is talking the wisdom of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You say, how am I going to touch the wisdom of God? Oy, am I going to abuse it? Oy, am I going to do something? No. Go and learn. The Eibishter broke the decree, go as high as you can go in Limat Torah. And so too, go as low as you can go in Gashmis. Because the decree goes on both sides. And you could be, that's what the Gemara says, if somebody comes Lamaila and says, oh, I was so poor, I couldn't be a pious person. They're going to bring out a very poor person, Hillel. Hillel's going to come to the court and say, I was very poor too. A Jew's going to say, I was so rich. I was too busy counting my money. I was too busy. They're going to bring out Rabbi Yehuda and Nasi. They will come out and say, I was rich too. There's no contradiction. No contradiction. Whether you're poor or rich, whether you're wealthy.
There's a difference. To get wisdom, you can learn. To get rich, doesn't matter how much.
If you're not rich, then your avoid is not to be rich. That's it. Finish. Be happy with your. So that's it.
Thank you, Hashem.
That's it. So that's not your avodah. I know my avodah is not to be rich. What's wrong with that? I'm fine. I'm not going to be rich. My father, blessed memory, there was once a Farbrengen on Simchas Torah on Tafshin Chai. It was 1958. Shach Tafshin Chai. The Rebbe said, he had a couple of Chaims, and he said, whoever wants to be rich should raise their hand. This was a Farbrengen. And it was like 5-6 guys who raised their hand. So, and they became very wealthy. And I asked my father, I was not being born yet. I said to him later, I said, why didn't you raise your hand? So he said, I didn't want to be rich. I didn't want the sign of riches. I didn't want it. I said, you weren't thinking about me, but you should have raised your hand. Why'd you raise your hand? Right? Yeah, you didn't raise your hand. You should have raised your hand. Right? So my father said, I don't want to be rich.
He didn't tell you
my father-in-law also had the same story. My father-in-law went by the Rebbe, and the Rebbe told him he should buy a lottery ticket. Somebody told him to buy a lottery ticket. And and he never did it. And I asked him once why. He said, I don't want to be rich. I don't want to sign. I don't want to be rich.
It doesn't have really a negative.
What?
Ruchaniut cannot. It doesn't really have a negative connotation to it. There's no point for Yitzhak to overtake.
Yeah, sure.
With Gashmiut, you have.
No, you have Ruchniut. Same right there. Most people think I can never understand the essence of things. So what do I need to start? I can never understand the essence. Humans like to have an end thing. You know, you like to have a test and get a diploma. In a Torah education is never ending.
Right.
So it's never ending.
But there's
So
no
that's
negative-
people
there's
don't
no
like that. A lot of
negative
children, a
potential.
lot of
What's the
people.
negative potential about Ruchniut? The more you get,
You can be a maneuver b'reshus Torah. That's when you the chachma you receive can be a gaiva. Can turn you into a bal gaiva. It can turn you into a egotistic. Yeah.
how can you be
The
Gaval
chachma.
Gava if you become Ruchniut?
Because the question is, how do I take the ruchnis? So the ruchnis comes into me, and how do I take this ruchnis? I can take this. I process it, so I can process it in a negative way. I can process it that I'm holier than you. I am holy. I'm not even lying. I am older than you, and that's not good. Holiness is bittul. So you're taking you learn the Torah the wrong way. So it's all you need to both ways go. That you learn the Torah to become close to God, and you're making money to become close to God. There's not an opposite. There's no contradiction. They're both for the sake of Avodas Hashem.